Under the dividends irrelevance approach, today we start with the Modigliani Miller approach, which is popularly known as the MM theory. So, under the MM approach, like the residual theory of dividends, what is claimed is that dividend decision per se is a residual decision for the firm. The firm first charts out the investment opportunities it has, then sees how much retained earnings are there, and then if surplus money remains with the firm after distribution of the funds to the prospective investments, dividends might be distributed. Now, one thing MM approach adds here is that if the firm distributes dividend in presence of further investment opportunities, then what happens is that one, when the dividend is declared, there will be an increase in price of the shares, which is what generally happens in the market also. But what happens is once the dividends are distributed, then there is a cash outflow from the firm. So dividends are declared. So declaration of dividend will lead to an increase in the price of the share. That what happens is that when dividends are distributed, then there is a cash outflow from the firm. In presence of further investment opportunities, this cash outflow means that funds are required. Now, for the firm, funds are required, and how are these funds going to come in the firm? They will come through further issue of shares. Further issue of shares. Now, this further issue of shares in the market will increase the number of shares, and this will then lead to a fall in the price of the share. So, whatever was gained by the shareholder through the dividend declaration by the firm, it is nullified when dividends are distributed. This means a shareholder is indifferent between dividend declaration and dividend distribution, or a dividend paying firm and a non dividend paying firm, because whatever gains are made at the time of dividend declaration, they are nullified when there is a cash outflow at the time of dividend distribution by the firm. Now, dividends, they depend on earnings of the company as per the NM approach, and earnings again depend on the investment opportunities before the firm. So, a proper behavioral justification is given by MM to prove this point. So, let's move further into the theory. So, this theory, again, like the previous MM approach of capital structure, is based on some strict assumptions. The first and foremost being perfect capital markets. Perfect capital markets, though non-practical, uh, they are there, or perfect capital markets exist when there are no transaction cost, everyone has all the information in the market, investors are rational, purchase and sale of shares and securities can be made in infinitely small values, or they are infinitely divisible. So You can purchase 11.5 shares, you can sell 20.75 shares. That is what the perfect capital market says. Apart from that, there are no capital gains tax as per the approach. The firm has a fixed investment policy in the sense that it is beforehand that the firm knows how much investment budget is required. There won't be any change during a particular period. Now here the proof for the hypothesis is given. I'll quickly move through these slides because this would make more sense when we pick up a question. So let's first move through the slides and then through the question I will cover all these aspects. Now theory proves that dividends are irrelevant by taking two cases. One case will be valuation of the firm when dividends are distributed. Second case would be valuation of the firm when dividends are not distributed. So under both the cases, eventually if we land at the same value for the firm, it proves that dividends do not matter. So step one, you calculate the price of the share at the beginning of the period as D1. D1 is the expected dividend at the end of period 1. P1 is the expected market price of the share at the end of period 1, and this is discounted, so it is 1 plus KE in the denominator. KE stands for cost of capital. Now through this formula we try to gauge the future expected market price of the share. After this, since we have the assumption of no external financing, we try to see what are the additional funds required, and second thing is how many new shares need to be issued in the market. Now this is calculated as NP0. N is number of shares, P0 is the price. ND1 plus NP1 upon 1 plus KE. Now, this formula helps us locate what is the additional amount required to the issue of shares, और उसके बाद आप number of shares calculate करते हो. So, this can also be written more simply as जो इन्वेस्टमेंट अमाउंट रिक्वायर्ड है वो कहाँ से मीट होगी, वो मीट होगी फर्म की अर्निंग्स से लेस द डिविडेंड distributed. Okay, and you divide it by P1 and you will get the number of shares required to be issued in the market. So you get the number of shares and then you try to come to the valuation of the firm. So either of the formulas can be used depending on the case, whether it is a dividend paying firm or whether it is not a dividend paying firm. So that is the formula for calculation of the value of the share, value of the firm, sorry. So what we do is let's quickly start with the question, and there I'll cover all these points and then it would make more sense also. So moving to the first question on approach, say a firm has 1 lakh shares outstanding and is planning to declare a dividend of rupees 5 at the end of year 1. The present market price of the share is 100, cost of capital is given. You have to find the price of the share under two options if dividend of 5 rupees is paid and second if dividend is not paid. So let's first move case by case. So please pay attention. Step 1, calculation of P1, expected price of the share at the end of the year 1. Two cases, if dividend paid, if dividend is not paid. So I'll apply the formula. So here P1 comes to 105. Similarly, I calculate the P1 here using the same formula, zero dividend. So here P1 is coming to 110. At this step, you can conclude that in both the cases, the position of the shareholder remains the same. Now, in case 1, he is receiving 105 as the price of the share at the end of year 1, along with 5 rupees as a dividend. So, the total earnings for the shareholder would be 110. 105 as the expected market price and 5 rupees as the dividend received. Same thing is with the second case also. If dividends are not distributed, then 110 is the earning for the shareholder. Okay. Now, after this, in the question you are saying, given, say the firm has a total profits of 10 lakh during the year and is planning to make an investment of 20 lakh at the end of the year. So you need to explain the arbitrage process. So again, it is through the arbitrage process that the theory is giving behavioral justification. So moving to step 2, I start calculating the value of the firm or funds required. So if dividend paid, we are now looking at the calculation of the value of the firm. So let us start. So first I need to calculate what is delta n. Delta n is the new number of shares which the firm has to issue, and this is I. To understand a simpler way, I need the number of shares to be issued. Investment required 20 lakh minus earnings. अब earnings आप लिखो या retained earnings लिखो. आपका 10 लाख की अर्निंग्स थी और उसमें से 5 लाख रुपीज आपके डिविडेंड में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो गए. Sorry, the total profits are 10 lakh rupees and 5 lakh is distributed. So which means that additional funds required are 15 lakh. So delta N will be 15 lakh divided by P1. Delta N will be 15 lakh. These are the additional funds required divided by P1, and this comes to so 1428.5.7. This is your delta N. Existing number of shares for the firm right now are 1 lakh, and 14,285 is the new requirement for the firm. Till this point, if there is any question, please ask. If there's any point which is not clear till here. Okay, let's move further. We now calculate under step 2, we calculate the number of, sorry, the value of the firm here. So this will be NP0. और वैल्यू कैसे निकलेगी फर्म की? टोटल नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स विच इज n plus delta n, total number of shares into P1 minus investment plus earnings. This is the final formula upon 1 plus KE. So this means 1,14,285.7 into 105 is the first term minus 20 lakh plus 10 lakh divided by 1.10, and you will get the value of the firm at 0 point of time, that is today. So you can solve. So this is coming to 1 CR. So this is the value of the firm when the dividends are paid. So after this, we need to check whether we are getting the same value if dividends are not paid. Only then we can say that the shareholder is indifferent between both the conditions, that is whether dividends are being paid or they are not being paid. Okay?
Excuse me, ma'am.
हाँ जी बोलो.
Ma'am, how we get NAV plus 1 lakh?
वो तो क्वेश्चन में ही दिया हुआ बेटा आपको.
Okay.
Here it is given that the firm has 1 lakh shares outstanding.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone? Okay, so now comes the second case when dividends are not paid. Now, is the firm getting the same value when it is not paying dividends? Let us see. If dividends not paid, these steps remain the same. So, which means first you need to calculate delta N. Are there any further fund? Is there a further fund requirement by the firm? So, how many number of shares need to be issued in the market? अब इसके लिए हमेशा हम earnings की तरफ देखते हैं. Firm has earnings of 10 lakh rupees, but investment required is 20 lakh. So this means 20 lakh minus 10 lakh. This is the fund requirement. And now this will help you see how many shares need to be issued. You simply divide it by P1. तो जब डिविडेंड्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं हो रहे तब आपकी मार्केट प्राइस ऑफ द शेयर expected market price of the share is 110. So now you divide 10 lakh by 110. So you're getting 9,990.9 as the number of shares that need to be distributed. So again, I will now calculate the value of the firm. So this will be here also make a correction. This is N. N stands for the number of shares. तो इसमें आप N की जगह R लिख लो. तो उससे confusion नहीं होगी because N is the existing number of shares. R would be the number of shares existing प्लस न्यू करके जो आपकी मार्केट प्राइस आ रही है वैल्यू आ रही है फर्म की. So again I am using the very same formula here. RP0 is equal to N. N is 1 lakh plus delta N. So 1,09,090.9 into P1. यहाँ पर this is 110 minus investment 20 lakh plus earnings 10 lakh divided by 1.10. So same formula and you get the value. Again you check and you get the value as 1 CR. So this shows you that whatever be the dividend policy, dividend approach of the firm, the market value of the firm remains the same. You can also calculate the value at the end of period 1 क्योंकि हम बार बार फ्यूचर की बात कर रहे हैं. We are talking about period 1 values for share, for dividend distributed, for fund requirement. We are considering period 1 values. So you can also calculate RP1, which will be the market value of the firm at the end of period 1. तो उस केस में आपका आएगा P1. तो एक तो पहला केस आई एम टेकिंग डिविडेंड इज इक्वल टू 5. उस केस में क्या आएगा मार्केट प्राइस 105 into the number of shares which are present in the market. So 1,14,285.71. This is the number of shares, and you multiply it by 105, and you get 1 crore 20 lakh as the value of the firm when dividends are distributed. Okay, when dividends are zero, then your market value will be 110 into 109090.9, and that will again give you a value of 1 crore 20 lakh. So in both the cases, whether you calculate the value of the firm today or the value of the firm at the end of year one or future value of the firm, the number remains the same. I'm sorry. The value remains the same. So at the end, what do we conclude? You go with case 1, and the firm goes with case 1, or case 2. Situation 1, when dividend is not paid, sorry, when dividend is paid, and situation 2, when dividend is not paid. Firm ends up with the same value in the market. Any questions, any doubt? So what you need to solve the question is the three formulas. One, the expected market price of the share, P1. Second, the number of shares to be issued, जो delta N आपने calculate करा है. And last, the formula for calculation of market value of the share. Through these three steps, you calculate the value of the share both under dividend distribution and second under no dividend distribution. You end up on the same value. Any question, any doubt? So this means that
No, ma'am.
thank you. This means we move to the second question. Its MM approach is very popular as per your previous year exams. So we'll practice at least two, three questions on the same. Let's start with this question. Take 2 minutes first to read the question, then we'll discuss it. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at the question, understand it, then you solve. Now, in this question, you are given a textile company belongs to risk class for which appropriate PE is 10. Now, PE ratio का क्या use होता है generally? If you have to find out some missing value, PE is equal to market price of the share divided by earning per share. And another thing, if cost of capital or cost of equity is not given, then we take it 1 upon the PE ratio. So 1 by 10, this makes the discount rate as 10%. Okay, apart from this, you need to calculate the price and the value of the firm delta N. I am writing the formulas, then you can start solving. Okay, so you can start solving. Take 5 minutes and then we discuss each of these steps. Okay, let's start discussing the values. We'll take up both the cases. So the first case is dividend equal to 0. Second case is dividend equal to 8. Okay, one by one. Can someone you tell me what is the value of the share, expected value
Expected value 110.
for first case and for second case?
For second, 102.
Okay, perfect. So class, you can see that in both the cases, the net earnings for the shareholder is 110, because in first case his market price is expected to rise to 110, while in second case he has 8 rupees of dividend along with 102 as the market price of the share. Okay. Second thing, yes, someone else who has solved. Should I call out the name? Okay, Aman Muyal. Let's solve further. अयान.
यस मैम।
हाँ जी अयान, आप मुझे बताओ डेल्टा एन कितना आ रहा है?
मैम सेकंड केस का मैम बताऊं डेल्टा एन?
जिसमें 8 रुपीज है डिविडेंड.
यस मैम।
हाँ बताओ बेटा.
मैम 4901.96।
0.96.
यस मैम।
Okay. Rest of you also keep checking side by side. And Ayan, you have not calculated for first case.
मैम पहले मैम डिविडेंड 8 का मैम निकाल लिया मैम, डिविडेंड
पूरा
0 का
कर लिया आपने डिविडेंड 8 का. आप मुझे नेक्स्ट स्टेप भी बताओ.
मैम आर पी नॉट आया मैम 50 लाख।
RP नॉट आपका आ रहा है 50 लाख. Okay. Yes, anyone else who has solved Garvit? Have you solved? Gaurav,
I'm doing, ma'am.
Pranath,
मैम शेयर्स का अमाउंट अलग अलग आ रहा है मेरा, मतलब चेंज इन न्यू शेयर्स 8823.5 in case of dividend and 8181.8 in when dividend is 0.
okay. So I'll just check the answer. Wait. For okay, when dividend is not paid, when dividend is paid, जो ये वाली वैल्यू है ये कितनी आ रही है आपकी डेल्टा एन की?
8823.5.
8823.
0.5.
ठीक है. 0.529 है exactly value. Okay, Aman, you also check what mistake have you made. आपको required funds है 10 लाख, 5 लाख इनकम है और डिविडेंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो गया है आपका 4 लाख का as per the question.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so 1 lakh rupees additional required है divided by 102. So you'll get 8823.529. Okay, Pranath, what about this? When and then after this, what is the RP0?
मैम कैलकुलेट कर रहा हूँ.
So delta n for dividend equal to 0. Anyone else has calculated?
मैम डेल्टा एन दोबारा बता दो एक बार.
डेल्टा n मैं बता देती हूँ बेटा, ये देखो डेल्टा n है नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स रिक्वायर्ड. नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स के लिए पहले आपको देखना पड़ेगा एडिशनल कितने फंड्स रिक्वायर्ड हैं. फर्म को कितनी अमाउंट चाहिए, फर्म के पास कितनी अर्निंग्स है और उन अर्निंग्स में से फर्म ने कितना डिविडेंड दे दिया. अब आपकी जो फर्म है दैट रिक्वायर्स 5 lakh rupees as per the second part of the question, whereas the earnings of the firm are, sorry, the firm requires 10 lakh and firm has earnings of 5 lakh rupees. बट ये पूरी 5 लाख फर्म के पास नहीं रहेगी क्योंकि इसमें से डिविडेंड भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो रहा है. एक शेयर पे 8 रुपीज का डिविडेंड है. सो on 50,000 shares the dividend will be 4 lakh rupees, which means 9 lakh rupees extra are required. For the firm, you divide this 9 lakh. Sorry, I earlier told 1 lakh. 1 lakh is subtracted from 10 lakh. 9 lakh are the additional funds required. उसके लिए आप shares issue करोगे. Shares किस value पे issue करोगे? जो expected price है at the end of year 1. So this gives you number of shares as 8823.529. For first case, when dividend is 0, fund required 10 lakh, earnings 5 lakh. तो 5 lakh के लिए अब firm issue करेगी shares and the number of shares will be 5 lakh divided by 110. Please calculate how much is the value coming to. Find my calculator. So then in the last step you're simply multiplying. Let's first calculate the number of shares required. So 4545.45 number of shares. And now last step का formula आपको दिया हुआ है. So you're getting 50 lakh as the current market value of the share, and similarly we calculate for second case. So this is also almost 50 lakh after rounding off, and hence you can see that the current market value remains the same irrespective of whether dividends are distributed or not. Similarly, आप calculate कर सकते हो. I'm just rubbing this part. You can also calculate what is the expected value of the firm at the end of year one. So this will be 110 into 54,545.45, and this will be 102 into 58,823.529. So you will find that even the expected market value at end of year one is coming out to be the same. Is 545.45. So approximately 60 lakh under both the cases. So indifference is hence proved for the dividend payment. Any question, any doubt?